Yeah. So you passed Bill Lambier in regular season wins today.
That was great. It was exciting. More importantly, we beat the LA Sparks. That was, obviously what we came here to do. And, I guess if you do this thing long enough, you have a chance to, I've been fortunate. I think about just great teams, great players, the staff that I love coming to work with every day. And, I don't think about these things, it really doesn't matter to me. I wanted to win the next game, and that's what we did.
You mentioned the other day something about being almost like 150.
Yeah. We're now 155 at 7. Yeah. 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 This season? We've defended from training camp, and into each game it's been a little more our identity than what it has been now in a few years. I think we have aggression on the perimeter. We've got good rim protection, timely rotations. I think overall we're hard to play against. We win the deflection battle most nights, those sort of things. And so, there are definitely some weaknesses to our defense that we're working really hard to try to shore up. But, I thought that, overall, I hope anybody that we play against feels like they had to earn anything they got.
You
Well, I don't necessarily know that we went out there and said, okay, who can play center? It's more about we were putting together a team that had the type of players that we wanted. You can't necessarily always solve all your problems in one off season, problems or depth issues, or we did like Dorca's size. We just wanted to add someone that was hard to play against. And if you talk to Fee about that, that was a player that said, I didn't like playing against Lan. And so we said, okay, well, let's put her on our side. And Lan or Fee went to work and recruited Lan. But I did think that Lan's defense at the rim, she had a darn good season in Chicago. She scored it well, 2-point field goal percentage, and she rim protected. And so, those were things that we found valuable. We were fortunate that she chose us.
Coach, can you speak on your team's ability to keep the pressure on as the Sparks tried to push and make a comeback in the second half?
Yeah, well, we had to buckle down and get some stops. We were not executing on the offensive end. I thought that Sparks turned up their aggression, their desperation. Things were getting, all the things you'd expect would happen in a game. You have that where you get a big lead early, you soften up. You start, maybe doing things with not a great attention to detail. Another team that has this, we don't have anything to lose at this point. Let's just go play. Let's play hard. And they started doing that and, sort of turned the tide. We lost the third quarter. We lost the last 5 minutes by 6. And then we just had to, we had to buck up and we were disappointed with, the third quarter in particular. And then, when they were making their run, thought we've got a little bit better offensively in the fourth quarter. And, we were able to finish it out.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Pivot to the Zoom and start with you.
You already mentioned a little bit just about, and you've talked about it all year, about the identity being defense, but this is the 5th opponent in 9 games that shot less than 40%. Tonight was a season low in both points and shooting for an opponent. Is this team getting better defensively even after starting so strongly in that area?
No, I think if I'm being really honest, I thought that LA had a number of open shots that they did not make. And our halftime was not pretty. Because I thought we were missing the multiple efforts, etc. There were times that we accomplished some things. This is a team that likes to throw it into the post. It was a really good game for us to, kind of get back to fighting the post the way we like to fight the post and not let direct entries happen. So we made a lot of mistakes in doing that. We had, we showed them at halftime the ways that we were, technique wise weren't good. So it was great for us in that way. Our ball pressure was sometimey. So I don't know that it was our best defensive effort. I wouldn't want to give those same shots to LA next time we play them.
And just, you had such strong starts to each of the first three quarters, and Fee was such a big part of the way you got out of the blocks tonight. Just talk about just the tone she set tonight right from the bat.
It was great. I thought our pace, I thought our attention to what we were doing, our aggression, our win the first 5 minutes mindset was great, and it was led by Fee. And the actions that we were getting stops, and we were really diligent about some of the details that we sort of highlighted for our offensive schemes. So we were on it. We were ready to play when the game started.
We'll go Brad, then Terry.
Yeah. Hi, Coach. Bridget had a really good game tonight. 15 points, perfect from three. And so, can you speak to how her play has improving and how she's fitting into the starting lineup?
Yeah, I mean, she's somebody that we've always counted on to be the hustle play player, do the little things. She plays her assignments well. She plays our schemes well. She's very diligent about, pleasing us, if you will, in terms of what we want to get done. She's very, very dependable. And then now she's added an aggression on the offensive side of it. That is perfect timing for us. As she's got an opportunity to, in Diamond's absence to be a starter. And she's, I just think the timing of her coming off a great season overseas, she has this momentum and confidence offensively. It's what we talked about in free agency that we really wanted to see from her, taking that next step. And so she's done that. And then tonight, as you mentioned, was a good game for her.
I thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Terry.
Hey, Coach. Congrats. Before the game, you talked with us about you being the league leader in steals, and that we should all write about it, which we can and should do. But you also came to the game with a league best 24 assists per game, leading the league by a comfortable margin. Another 25 tonight on 32 made baskets, and the disparity of where those assists are coming from seems to come through. Like the whole lineup, all starters had multiple assists tonight.
Yeah.
Just how pleased have you been with the ball movement and players finding each other, and just how that's led into the success so far this season?
I'm really pleased. It's something that we talk about a lot. We've got really good basketball players that understand reads and cuts and not stand. We don't necessarily have great athleticism all over the place, right? And so we have to play the game collectively at both ends of the floor, particularly the offensive end, where we share it, we move it. You see Lan have the ball 4 feet from the basket, but she recognizes there's a shot blocker waiting on her, and so she gives herself up and throws it out to three. And so we say it a lot: give yourself up. Don't beg for the ball. If somebody's closely guarding you, give yourself up. That means cut. And because oftentimes, and we repeatedly show them how simple a basket cut loosens up action behind, so it leads to a better shot for our team. And so we talk about it a lot, and this group understands it. So it's not a begging situation. It's just sometimes just reminders. And so we have a group that they'll tell you, I mean, their chemistry and they're willing to share, and not who gets the credit. That's all very real.
Thanks.
We'll go Willie, then Kent.
Hey, Cheryl. If I can ask you away from the game for a moment, with all the titles you've won in the WNBA, but also, your run with Team USA as an assistant and a head coach. We saw the emotions of Cam Brink and Haley Van Lith today. Really special videos that were out there. I mean, it's the 3-on-3 team, but nevertheless, just how special you've seen over the years the emotions of these young women and representing their country and what it means. We're going to get a chance to talk to Cam tomorrow. I was just wanting to get your reaction.
I mean, USA Basketball is just such a special organization, and experience. I think that's probably the most important thing. This started in '95, where there's the commitment that was made to women's basketball to be the best. And so there's this foundation that USA Basketball has valued, prioritized in that not only great players, but selfless people that play the game the right way, et cetera. That, it's one of those things that I hope it always stays this way. I hope it will always be the case that when USA Basketball calls, you go and you give everything you have and you commit to you're in training camps, you're in qualifying tournaments, you're playing for your country. And I'd have never been a part of any USA Basketball team where I didn't feel that those people there all thought it was the most special thing they were doing, those experiences. It's hard. It's hard being a WNBA player, an overseas player, and a USA Basketball player. It's hard. And so to me, and I know USA Basketball recognizes that, that's how much they value it, is they're pulled in so many directions, but they're willing to be there and go through the sacrifice that it takes to be able to be a part of it. And so it's special. It's special every time. I know for me, it's been since 2014. There's not been a time that I stood on the sideline and had the introductions and the national anthem being played that you don't feel this very, very special sense of pride and purpose in what we're doing. And so I know that's how I feel. And it really appears that the many, many players that have gone through USA Basketball, that have sacrificed, that have been great players on a great team, that you don't start, in some cases, great players that got cut from the team didn't make it. There's just so many ways that you think about the sacrifice and what it builds, and to be a part of the very best. There's just not been a time that it hasn't felt like an incredibly special experience.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, one final question. You talked a little bit about it when you're talking about the kind of the mindset this team has offensively, but I mean, when you talk about kind of like formulas for winning, tonight you had, I think, 6 players with 8 or more points. Every starter had multiple assists. You had 8 players with multiple assists. If you put that together with consistent defense, and that's going to get you a 7-2 start, right?
Yeah. No, there's no question about it. It has been our formula. They're having fun with it. And this is sometimes you don't know how it's going to turn out. You build a team in the off season, but until you're in the trenches and you're, getting together, you don't know how it's all going to turn out. I can just tell you that in the first couple of days, they all knew that what their feeling was about each other and being there together. Like it was like that these things came natural for them. And, particularly on the defensive side of it. And, we're not perfect. Like I said, we've got shortcomings for sure. And we're going to just kind of continue to highlight those and see if we can't be self-aware and try to improve in some areas, and both defensively and offensively. But what you're seeing, hopefully you're feeling it when you watch us play, is that a genuine, authentic bond, that we have a collective way about us, that they don't care who gets the credit, and they just are enjoying being around each other, playing with and for each other.
And then we'll wrap with one final question from Leo and Terry each.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on the win again today. Wanted to ask you about point guards. So we've seen, a couple of turnovers, come in sometimes at half court or early in the sets. And, later on, there may be some rotation that you make, whether it's putting the Chisha in or putting Ollie in. So, when those turnovers happen, what are you seeing out there in terms of, is it maybe the ball handler that's making the wrong read there, or is it the team maybe not adjusting correctly? And, what needs to change with that? And second part of that question is, what has Ollie kind of showed you, her short time as a Lynx so far to, really have you earn your trust in that?
Pace. I would say that's the number one thing, is when you look, like when we're in trouble and those things are happening, it's pace that we're doing something with, initiating the offense, the way we're bringing the ball up the court with a command. Each possession, you're trying to play from ahead. You're trying to find the moment that you establish that you have an advantage, and that's whether it's on offense or defense. And when your offense, when you bring it up slow and you're getting ball pressure up the court, you're not playing from ahead. So either we've got to head man the basketball, get rid of it, play through the trail. There's counters to some of that pressure so that it doesn't bog us down. But I think in those moments, that's what I would point to, just an overall, walking it up, not in sync, with play calling, that sort of thing that just, can be frustrating, that's for sure. And was there a second part? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about, how Ali has
Oh,
earned
Ali.
your trust. Yeah, so far.
Yeah,
Sure.
Ali. So, when that happens, the player that we think of is Ali, because Ali's going to give us pace. And so that's why her number was called in our last game against Dallas, because again, we were getting bogged down, physicality would bother us, and we needed penetration. And also Ali's, her defense, her on-ball defense is very disruptive. And so I think that's what we think of, when Ali gets those opportunities. And Ali's probably the only true point guard we have on the roster. Courtney, as we know, is, giving up herself, to be our point guard. And then, T is really more of a two. Same thing, playing the one. Does it well. She's a terrific passer. I thought T's floor game was really, really good. I thought her ball pressure defensively, her command of the offense, she just, right now just can't buy a basket. And, I told her it was coming, and not to think about it. And hopefully that will turn for her soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Final question from Terry.
Coach, I know win number 307 is far from the goal you have for this year, but it was still, cool to see the final seconds tick off, and Jason Sudeikis being one of the first people there to congratulate you. I know he was a fairly successful fictional coach, but still a cool thing to see. So I was just wondering if you could share anything a bit about like that interaction and any, words of encouragement he might have shared with you.
Well, if, in full transparency, this is well beyond or outside of my personality, in that I'm not real big on meeting people. I'm not going to go out of my way. If it sort of happens, I do it, type of thing. But I just got a wild hair after the game, and I thought, I'm not letting this time pass where I don't walk over and thank him. So I went to him, and I thanked him for being a women's basketball fan. And I asked him if he was working anymore, because all I ever see is him being in basketball. And I got the chance to meet his family. So we didn't talk about anything coaching wise. He was very complimentary of our team. So full disclosure, I sought him out. There was no, I'm sure he has got no idea, who Cheryl Reeve is or anything like that, or any win totals. But it was, again, for me, a little bit outside of what I would ordinarily do. But I'm a big fan. Because he's a big fan of the WNBA women's basketball.
Awesome. Thanks so much, and congrats again.
Thanks, Terry.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Anybody else in here?
2 players.
2 players. All right.